studios in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. This is the Spit Sports Show. Here we go. Spit's Sprint Week 2, where we give you everything you need to know about every single NFL game as fast as humanly possible. We waste no time during these shows. We'll start with Commanders, Packers. The Packers secondary and the Commanders receivers, to me, were the start and end of the story. The Packers secondary looked unbelievable. All of Washington's weapons outside of Deebo Samuel, funny enough, looked slow and lethargic. Terry McLaurin looks like he didn't participate in training camp. Washington's defense, I think, is something positive that they can take away from this game. It looks like they might be able to get a pass rush with 4 consistently. I still have questions about their secondary, but overall, the Packers are really, really good. Through 2 weeks, they've probably been the most impressive team. It's either them or the Bills. Moving on to the Sunday games. Lions, Bears. The Lions are back. Everybody thought that this was going to be a Ben Johnson homecoming, and it was, just not in the way that he expected. The Lions put up the most yards per play in franchise history at 8.8. Caleb Williams looks like he has not improved whatsoever in his decision-making since last year. It is his first season with the new offensive coordinator. Give it a bit of time, but their defense looked like they gave up after halftime. Overall, it looks like the Bears franchise is just not in the right place to start really making changes culturally, as I was afraid would be the case before the season. Lions shellac the Bears and look like they're back to being a top contender in the NFC. Giants Cowboys. This was the most Giants football game I've ever seen in my life, with the most Russell Wilson football game I've ever seen in my life. Russell Wilson plays the best game that he's played ever since he left Seattle, and ends the game throwing up not even a prayer in overtime, just a pop-up ball to the Cowboys safety for the game-ending interception. The Cowboys, turns out, they are exactly what I and many others thought they would be: a really, really impressive offense. Even a better offense than I thought that they would have, considering that the running game has been so good. And Dak Prescott has looked fantastic. Brandon Aubrey needs to be paid as much as a top-paid cornerback. He is that valuable to the team. And I think kicking somehow needs to get harder, because I am all for points in the NFL, don't get me wrong, but it gets to a certain point where if guys are consistently making 65-yarders every single week, they just made it easier to kick with the fact that they can break in these new kicking balls. I think they need to get rid of that and make it harder. Steelers, Seahawks. This game was pretty much an even 50-50 game to me, but the Steelers just made more mistakes than the Seahawks did. That kickoff play was just terrible. That young kid not knowing the rules. Rodgers regressed to his means, in my opinion. Obviously, he had a great week 1, but his weapons are very, very underwhelming outside of DK Metcalf. Bigger takeaway for the Steelers, though, is what is going on with their defense. Sam Darnold looked comfortable the entire day. Jackson Smith and Jigba looked good because they finally had to focus some attention on Cooper Kupp, who had somewhat of a showing in this game. Overall, I think both of these are, fringe playoff teams who got into a good battle. Pittsburgh just made more mistakes. I think they'll be fine, but I still think this is about a 500 football team. Same thing for Seattle. Seattle gets the win. Rams, Titans. This game featured both the worst decision I've seen from a quarterback and best throw I've seen from a quarterback in a long time in the exact same play. Cam Ward looks like he might be the guy in Tennessee. I love what I'm seeing from his poise in the pocket. Also, he looks incredibly comfortable moving away from pressure. Devontae and Puka Nacua are a ridiculous receiving duo. Devontae Adams proved that he still has a lot in the tank, as I thought he would before the season. Stafford still looks a little bit off to me, but that is expected considering the amount of time he missed in training camp. The Rams are a force in the NFC. To me, it's them, the Lions, and the Eagles, and the Packers as the clear top 4 teams in that conference. Bills, Jets, don't have to spend much time on this at all. They looked like they were playing two different sports. They're in two different weight classes. The Bills just have better players everywhere on the field. You can put this on Aaron Glenn if you want to, but the Bills are just the better roster and the better team. Patriots, Dolphins. Drake May looked comfortable in the pocket for the first time in his NFL career. I didn't think he looked incredibly jolty. I thought that he took his time. He kept his eyes downfield when he did decide to move. And Diggs finally made some plays. Kayshon Boutte looks like he's going to be a little fantasy darling. And I like Demario Douglas. I think their weapons are better than a lot of people think. And the Dolphins are just dead. If you can't win that game, then it's going to be hard for you, in my opinion, to get 4 wins this year. It's just such bad trench play, both on the offensive and defensive line for the Dolphins. And that's just not something you can overcome in the NFL. Jags versus Bengals. I'll get more into this during Spit's picks in a day or two, but this was a terrible beat for Spit's picks. But to the actual game, the Jags gave that game away. Trevor Lawrence seems to make the worst plays at the worst possible time for his team. I know his numbers underlying are decent, but whenever his team really needs to make a quarterback play to win a game, it doesn't seem like he's able to come through. Brian Thomas Jr. has the yips every time he ran a route over the middle. He looked like he had little T-Rex arms. It was genuinely embarrassing. I thought the Travis Hunter pass interference call that set up the Bengals really to win that game was a whole load of crap. But regardless, the Jags lost this game for themselves. But the Bengals might have won the battle, but lost the war. Joe Burrow looks like he's going to be out for about 3 months, and which that's so disappointing considering how hard they fought on defense for, in my opinion, the entire game, especially after Jake Browning came in, threw 3 interceptions. Defense didn't blink. They still fought hard. Bengals fans, I'm sorry. 49ers, Saints. Man, anybody who plays quarterback and is somewhat accurate can put up numbers with Kyle Shanahan. It was the Saints, don't get me wrong, and the Saints are very, very bad, but Kyle Shanahan's unbelievable. Kyle McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey still looks really solid. I'm concerned about their defense, specifically against the run. I still don't think this is anywhere close to the 49ers teams of old. This is more closer to like the current day Seahawks, where they're a good team, but not a great team. But good win for the 49ers considering Mac Jones was under the helm and Mac Jones is not good. Browns Ravens. The Ravens played nowhere near their best game in this. It felt like they were playing with their food for the majority of the game, especially in the red zone when they had the ball at the 1-yard line and didn't give the ball to Derrick Henry once. It felt like they were just messing around, and they still put up 40 points and blew out the atrocious Cleveland Browns. Broncos Colts. Again, I want to get into this in Spit's picks, but another terrible beat. The Broncos don't look well coached, flatly. Dumb penalties cost them this game. The Colts didn't deserve to win this game. They had terrible play calling to lead up to their field goal attempt, which the guy missed. But again, just bad penalties for the Broncos. Guy tries to jump over the pile, unnecessary roughness. They get another shot at it. Guy makes no mistake. Bo Nix still looks to me like he did in week 1. A little bit full of himself and a little bit trying to play out of the structure of the system when I don't think he needs to. Him and Sean Payton have been yapping at each other a little bit more than they have all of last season, to be honest. And I have to give credit to the Colts offense. They looked simple yet effective. Get the ball to Jonathan Taylor in space. Tyler Warren looks like he's going to be the best rookie tight end out of this class. And Daniel Jones just kind of has to avoid turning the ball over. And he's done a good job with that so far. So Colts go to 2-0. I don't think they deserve to. I thought the Broncos outplayed them, but again, dumb penalties and beating yourself, you're going to lose a lot of games that way. Panthers, Cardinals. The Panthers, man, the Panthers, the Giants, the Browns, like those are some of the worst teams to be a fan of right now. They are just driving in franchise quicksand. Bryce Young is not the answer. He's just not. All of his stats came in garbage time after the Cardinals already had the game won. Good for them for coming back and covering, but the Cardinals are exactly who we thought they were. They are a much, much improved defense. That corner, Will Johnson, again, I said he was the steal of the draft. He's looking like the steal of the draft so far. I still don't believe in Kyler for 17 games, but their offense is explosive enough to where they can be serviceable. And yeah, streaky offense, good defense. Cardinals are a good team. The Panthers aren't. Cardinals get the job done. Eagles, Chiefs. The Eagles really out-chiefed the Chiefs in this game was my major takeaway. The way the Chiefs won games last year was don't turn the ball over, play great defense, play ball control, and convert on third down. And the Eagles just did that better than the Chiefs did. I think the tush push is now going to be gone after this year, after what Brady said about them consistently false starting, and then Blandino coming on the air and just flatly saying, I'm done with the tush push. But again, the Eagles were going to win this game, I think, with or without the tush push, because Kansas City can't function on offense behind the sticks. They have to be consistently in second and medium, third and short, because they don't have A, explosive playmakers to get the ball down the field consistently, and B, even though his offensive line is good on paper, I don't see Mahomes as comfortable in the pocket as he has been in years past, and I think that's caused some inaccuracy issues. Both defenses looked pretty good. I think Kansas City's looked significantly better than Philadelphia's, though. Again, because of degree of difficulty, the teams that they were playing against, the offenses they were facing, but good win by the Eagles. They go 2-0. The Chiefs 0-2. Is it panic time for Kansas City? It's not. They play the Giants next week. They'll be just fine. Falcons, Vikings. My major question coming out of this game is JJ McCarthy good at NFL football? 7 out of 8 quarters of his career, he has looked flat out lost. And this isn't just like play bad. He's looked like he can't read a defense, inaccurate, pressing too much. Now, that one quarter that he had was spectacular, and it showed me a lot about his intangibles. But as far as his tangibles actually throwing the football on a consistent basis, I have major, major question marks. And for the Vikings, man, the injuries are piling up for them early. They lost another defensive player the other day. This could be a tough season for the Minnesota Vikings if McCarthy can't get it together. The Falcons are just a really good team. Really good's probably a bit much. They're a good team. The defense is the best it's been in years. They can finally get a consistent pass rush with 4, which I thought was a fever dream for the Falcons, but here it is. And Penix to me is a more mobile version of prime Kirk Cousins. And I mean that as a compliment. In his prime, Kirk Cousins was, anywhere from that 12 to 8 range, best quarterback in the NFL. And Penix can move a bit better. He can make plays. Moving on to the Monday night games, finally, Bucks, Texans. The Texans just killed themselves this game with penalties and their lack of third down efficiency. Dumb face masks, stupid holding calls, just overall killing themselves and killing drives with just undisciplined stuff. They had one play where they had the Bucks backed up to their 1 yard line. They stuffed Bucky Irving for, I think, maybe a loss. And the guy, for no reason, just grabs his helmet and rips it off of him 15 yards the other way. Tampa's buzzing. They were also 2 for 9 on third down. And on the final drive, Baker Mayfield made a play on 4th and 10 that just made my jaw drop, and a play that CJ Stroud just couldn't make the entire game. Right now, these two quarterbacks are on different levels than each other. Baker's playing some of the best in the NFL, and CJ to me is just kind of playing Trevor Lawrence ball, where he's not really doing anything wrong, but he sure as heck ain't doing anything right. Last game of the week was Raiders-Chargers. This was one of the worst games I've ever seen Geno Smith play since he moved on to the Seahawks. He looked like Jets, Geno Smith, constantly putting the ball in harm's way. He threw a pick on the first play of the game. Just overall, the Raiders offense was super, super lethargic. I don't think Genty looks that good as a rookie flatly. I don't know how much that has to do with him and how much that has to do with his O-line. Maybe that's not totally fair, but it's just what I see. He doesn't quite have the explosion that I thought I would see in the NFL. Herbert is firmly in the NFL MVP conversation through 2 weeks. It's probably him, Josh Allen, Jordan Love, Lamar for who's really in that loud conversation. Keenan Allen has been a godsend for him alongside of Lad McConkey. Third down, he looks towards Keenan if he's not looking to Lad. So he has two reliable weapons to go to instead of just one from last year. I think the Chargers look unbelievable. Wouldn't surprise me at all if they break the Chiefs' streak of division championships in the AFC West. Whew! What do we do that in? 15 minutes and 39 seconds. That is the best time we have recorded for Spitz Sprints. If that was pretty freaking awesome. I'm excited about that. Please let me know what you guys thought of week 2. What was your favorite game to watch? Giants Cowboys was awesome. There were a bunch of pretty great games, actually. Colts Broncos was sick. Anyways, let me know what your favorite game was, what your biggest takeaways were. I'm small enough as to where I can read all comments and love doing so drop something down there. Please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed what you heard. Please subscribe if you really enjoyed it. The Spitz Sports Show just hit over 400 subscribers. Big things happening on this channel. As always, I will see you all in the next one. Peace out. I love you guys.